just telling me your name first?
Colleen Clem from Winneconne, Wisconsin. That's near Oshkosh. I was here on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and finally on Monday I got to testify. I've been in the machining industry, manufacturing, most of my life, and I know what's going to happen to safety when there are no unions to negotiate safety rules. I was a member of the United Garment Workers of America when I worked for Oshkosh B'gosh as a seamstress sewing bib overalls. It took us 2 years to get a 15-cent needle guard on the machines. After many people, including myself, got
Okay, good. Yep.
Okay, the article I'm holding talks about Diane Hendricks not paying any money in taxes in 2010. That was just a shift in how they do business. But more importantly, it's come to my attention that Diane Hendricks is the one that was videotaped with Scott Walker. She wanted a red state, and she's getting her red state. She gave $500,000 to Scott Walker's campaign, and last year in 2014 she gave $1 million to the state Republican parties, from what I understand. And so I have a lot of concern about this state going into the pockets of the rich. I know that RTW, the bill itself, is modeled strictly on an ALEC outline, and so I have a lot of concern about the democracy of this state going down the tubes and becoming owned. I'm a lifelong second-generation Wisconsinite.
And what's your name?
My name is Pauline Gilbertson. I live in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm a retired public school teacher for 20 years. Before that, I have a master's in business administration, and I ran businesses prior to becoming a teacher.
Thank you for your testimony. This is Todd Price reporting for Channel 14 and Southeast Wisconsin Labor News. We want to talk with the AFL-CIO. It's a little loud here, but we're going to have him introduce himself. If you can introduce yourself for our Kenosha viewers, sir.
Phil Neuenfeld, President of the Wisconsin State AFL-CIO.
And you gave a spirited speech at the end there. We were just outside, and you talked a lot about solidarity, and there'll be another day. What is your feeling today, and what is the history that will be written on this August occasion?
Well, look around you. You have workers from all parts of the state of Wisconsin here. You have workers from all parts of the economy. They're here to bear witness about what's going to happen in this capital and take that message back home. And we're going to organize, organize, and organize.
And you made a very spirited defense of the real Wisconsin, the folks that are obviously gathered here that are taking off a working day to be here and testify and just be in solidarity. What's happened to the government here in this state, as you can see, with regards to this right to work legislation?
Well, it's very clear this piece of legislation is being driven by out-of-state special interests. And that's just not right. That's democracy. That's not democracy. Wisconsin has always been known and built on democracy. That is not what's happening. There's a reason they're running this bill through this extraordinary session, so people don't learn about it.
That's where I was going next. Is it unprecedented to see such an important bill that sets back labor rights for maybe 100 years almost? How did it come to this point that it's being pushed through so fast and there's such little, opportunity for public deliberation?
Well, it's obvious they're responding to those out-of-state special interests. They want to do it quick in a very time-constrained fashion so people don't have a chance to learn about this bill. The more people learn about this bill, the more they're opposed to it. They will be opposed to it, they will learn, and in the future we're going to grow our movement based on what happens here today.
One last question. I appreciate you've spoken a lot today already. What about the presidential election campaign? It seems that it's already happened, and Walker's outside of the state campaigning. What do you make of that in the bill in general, and how does that factor into?
I mean, I guess people make up their own minds. I'm going to look for a leader. And a leader is a person who unifies people. And what's happened to the state of Wisconsin is it's been polarized, it's been divided, it has not come together under this governor. People are going to have to make up their mind if that's what they want to run the country.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your busy time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep. Okay, well, we'll be bringing some other folks to talk to you, Kenosha, and we're going to hopefully get this aired in the next few weeks, and you can see and hear from the folks that are gathered here today. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Zach Stoner, president of Kenosha Central Labor, and I'm interviewing my friend and colleague, Clinton Rogers. Clinton, you want to tell us who you represent and what you're doing here?
I represent Communications Workers of America, District 4, which is Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, and Michigan.
So why are you up here today? With the way things are looking, what does this mean to you?
Well, I'm here today because we're fighting back against this attack on working families. And what the crowd is saying, I'm sure you guys hear it, was discussing this disgusting bill that the Senate has introduced. So that's why I'm here today.
That was a hell of a speech you gave earlier, Clinton. Where do you get your passion from? Why'd you start all this?
I started when I was still in grade school. My parents were union members, and they took me to rallies and protests and showed me what unions did for workers and how they provided safety in the workplace and just things like that, and how they protected the middle class and helped make sure there was still a middle class, which is what we're fighting against today, to make sure we still have a middle class.
Excellent. And what do you think it's going to mean for us, for labor in general, and for the working class when this bill runs its course, and if Scott Walker does turn this state, or if the Koch brothers turn this state into a right-to-work state?
All it'll do is continue to drive wages down, down, down. We already know that 1% of the citizens in the United States have the most wealth in this country. So what it'll do is drive our wages down, just like everyone else's. We got the people at the fast food restaurants fighting for $10 or $15 an hour, depends on what area you go to. But the bottom line is that no one can raise a family off of $7.25 an hour. America hasn't had a raise in over 5 years, almost 5 years now, which is in 2009. So that's exactly what the Republican governor here in the state and his buddies who are part of ALEC, the Koch brothers, that's what they want to see. Wages continue to go down in the United States.
All right, and I've got one more question for you, Clinton. If you would leave the people with a message, what can we do going forward to pick up the pieces and or fix this and or build power?
It's going to take a lot. We need to organize and make sure people know what right to work or what so-called right to work really means. It's the exact opposite. Right to work states have fewer jobs. The employees make they make an average of $5,000 less than those states who aren't right to work. So we just need to organize, and it's either like the elected officials who are passing this bill, we need to start picking which side we're on. It's either them against us, rich versus wealthy. And I know they talk about how our president likes to create class wars, but that's exactly what they're doing, creating a class war and trying to eliminate the middle class.
All right, thank you very much, Clinton.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We will fight you at the ballot box. We will fight you at the ballot box. We will fight you on the strike lines. We will fight you on the strike lines. And we will win back our rights. And we will win back our rights.
Okay, so we're doing a little videotaping for Channel 14 in Kenosha, and as a Kenoshan, we thought maybe folks would like to know a little bit about what's going on here today. Maybe you could talk, especially since you were in and around with the Act 10 and what that played out in Kenosha Unified School District. And introduce yourself too.
Okay, I'm Joe Kiriaki. what happened here earlier was that we were all in the gallery waiting for the debate to start over the right to work bill. One young man got up and started to recite why right to work was wrong for our state. And as he was doing that, Robin Voss was getting excited and asked that they clear the galleries. And then, of course, the police got a hold of him and walked him out of there. And then someone else got up and started reading the same script to finish the statement this young man was trying to make. And they marched him out of there. And then eventually they cleared us all out of there. So you can see this is just more of the same power grab. Their winner-take-all game that they're playing, where in fact they've got the power and they're going to do whatever they can to get everything done they want. And they'll leave nothing but losers is their plan. Over.
It seems like, again, we were just talking with Roger Bybee about the speeded up timeline here. What do you, is this unprecedented? Have you ever seen this in such a bold move?
It's unprecedented, and you'll see if you go back and look at all of these special sessions or any of these extraordinary sessions that have been called in the past, you'll never see votes taken by the Assembly or the State Senate where they're split so party line wise. Usually when those sessions are called, there's some very critical issues that need to be addressed and resolved, and they've used that power obviously to hide from what's really in the budget and to embellish Scott Walker's presidential campaign.
Let me ask you, too, I want to take you back just a few years because you were in the thick of things when Act 10 first came down in KUSD. Can you tell us a little bit about what were your suspicions about it then, or what were your insights on how that folded out, especially in Kenosha, since a lot of folks from Kenosha will see this?
Well, I don't think we've seen the negative impact from it all even now. I mean, we've lost a lot of good people within the buildings throughout the state, not just in Kenosha. You see these kids coming out of the schools who may have pursued being teachers, have changed those goals and are deciding to go into the private sector and even leaving the state with their degrees. So none of that's good for us, and this is just a continuation of that, and we haven't seen the end of it yet. I mean, they're talking about doing away with 1 day and 7 rests now. They're talking about taking the GAB apart so there's no accountability politically or otherwise for any of these characters, this cast of characters up here. I don't think we've seen the end of it still. Prevailing wage, they've got it all. It's all about, again, winner take all. This is the game they're playing.
Well, thank you for testifying to that today, and hopefully there will be some other folks that are going to remember this day and bring some of this information to it.
Thank you.
Hello. Hi there. We're here to see the governor.
Do you have an appointment?
Well, we set up, we asked for an appointment.
Okay.
Yeah, we're here on.
We attempted to set one up last week, so. Okay. We assume somebody come out and see.
We're here because we want to talk to them about the right to work and what they're going to do instead of driving down wages, instead of taking away workers' voice, actually treat workers like they're an important part of Wisconsin.
Okay. Yeah, he'll have somebody from the governor's office come out and speak to you.
All right, well, we're going to wait here till we get the governor.
If I could go over, if I could have people just maybe move over to, it'd be my left, your right, so that we can keep the aisle open if people come and go here.
All right, keep the aisle open, but let's just sit down. Why don't everybody sit down and wait?
This may take a minute. Everybody should have a seat.
Everybody make yourself comfortable.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
The governor was probably coming back from an exquisite vacation.
Everybody sit down and be comfortable. We're going to wait for the governor to tell us what he said.
From this wall, on this wall.
All right, come on, leave the, all right.
Over here, on this side. Everybody come over on this side.
All right. I don't know if you're on this side.
A little bit on this side.
Everybody come on in.
Yeah, we need to keep the walkway open.
Walk in this way. This is the walkway. Come on in.
All right, Governor Walker, I believe, will be on his way shortly.
We're waiting for the governor.
All right, while we're waiting here, let's talk a little bit about why we're here. Because in Scott Walker's Wisconsin, what we see is a few things. We see the Wisconsin manufacturers, the Koch brothers, the politicians, all having one thing in common about Walker's Wisconsin, and that is lower wages, take away workers' voices, take away workers' rights, and that's what the right to work is all about. Am I right? All right, let Walker hear you then. You want him out here. Come on, let's hear it. We want Walker! All right.
Right to work is
Now, let's understand that this is more than just about workers. This is about education. This is about democracy. This is about turning his back on immigrants. This is about all these things, and we want answers, and we want them today. I give you Boyd from Mashpee.
Well, a lot of people on this day are asking, how could this happen? The real question is, why is this happening? How could we be living in a Wisconsin where this governor, Governor Scott Walker, steals money from the elderly, defunds our elementary and high schools, defunds university education, transfers the largest amounts of wealth from working class folks into the hands of the 1% in broad daylight? How could this happen? Well, let me tell you something, sisters and brothers, as a public employee. The only way this could happen was if Act 10 happened. The only way Scott Walker could steal and rob and cheat the citizens of this state was if he iced out the eyes and ears, the 175,000 eyes and ears of public service. Public employees are the voice of people. They are the ones who keep the public trust. They are the ones that make sure that efficient services are delivered every day. When you silence those people, as they did with Act 10, temporarily, then the looting can begin. And what we are experiencing today, sisters and brothers, is nothing short of old-fashioned looting.
Yes.
He's stealing our resources. He's stealing our economy. He's stealing our dignity. He has taken large chunks of our democracy. And now he's trying to silence people, other working folks, through the right to work laws. Quick question for the group. Does anybody know which group created right to work laws?
Alex.
No.
Americans for Prosperity.
Does anybody know what year right to work laws were started, roughly? Earlier than that. They began in the 1920s. They were created by the Ku Klux Klan. Right, here's what right to work really means. As a white man, I have the right to work without having to be side by side with a person of color. They were created to maintain segregation in the workplace. The Southern economy knew that in order to maintain the social order of the South, they had to bring industry to the South, but they couldn't let black workers and white workers begin to work together on the shop floor and demonstrate power and solidarity.
Why not?
Because that would undermine the entire Southern economy. Some would argue the American economy now, right? Right to work laws were created by the original Libertarian Party and the Ku Klux Klan to keep the workplace segregated. If you go to the South today and you go to any unionized shop in the South, the union now is usually either the black workers union or the white workers union or the women's union or the men's union. It's rarely real solidarity and cross ethnicity solidarity, because that's the intent of right to work. It's to divide us. And if you think about all of the policies that Scott Walker has been implementing in this state, they're all, as he likes to say, divide and conquer. Right to work is no different. Right to work will neuter, in many respects, the unions, the organizations that workers have to try to keep the boss honest. They will neuter them. They'll make it much harder to operate. And of course, that's the whole idea. So this is just another step in the looting of this state. And we should think of it in no other way. And we should look at it in the same way we look at Act 10. We should look at it in the same way we look at the tax breaks for the wealthy, the increased taxes on seniors, all the awful things this man has done. So what we'd like to do is have him come out here, because maybe we're wrong. Maybe I'm being cynical. He should come out here and explain really what this is about.
We gather today in this Capitol building on an important day in the history of the state of Wisconsin. Its citizens its workers especially, but all of its citizens are affected by what's going on here today. We gather to share prayer, inspiration, information, and strength from each other and from our traditions. So I would like to begin by saying we need each other. We need to be here together.
Now, somebody said at the hearing this morning that they actually had run into Governor Walker here today. Well, we haven't seen him. He's probably, if he is here, talking to the Koch brothers on the phone, as usual.
He's in the weasel hole.
Or maybe getting orders from the WMC, as usual.
Zombie twin.
Or running around the country pretending that everything is great in Wisconsin. And one of our determinations is to say, it's not great. Walker's Wisconsin doesn't work. It doesn't work for working people. It doesn't work for people in our communities. It won't work for this country. Let that word go out. And one person who's spreading that word that I know Governor Walker is afraid to talk to, afraid of the logic and the knowledge about working people, is Randy Price, leader of the Iron Working Group.
This morning I went to work, 0 degrees outside. I'm not a terrorist. It only hurt when I inhaled. And we have between 800 and 900 brothers and sisters that work, that build Wisconsin. They are not terrorists either. The terror that's going on in Wisconsin are the hundreds of thousands of people wondering how long they can provide for their families. Shouldn't be a choice between, do I pay the rent or do I take Johnny to the doctor?
That's right.
That's no way to live. That is not freedom.
No, it's not.
That's what Scott Walker wants to bring to the entire United States.
Yeah. Never gonna happen.
What we need to do is get the message out, what he's doing to Wisconsin. He wants to take this terror to the rest of the country. He started this war. He dropped the bomb.
Yep. That's right.
Meanwhile, we continue building. Everything that he said privately has come out publicly. This isn't a surprise to anybody. We know what he's done. We know what he's capable of. After this attack, who's next? Who's going to be left for him to attack? He just gave a raise to gentlemen like the guys behind me. You wonder why he offered to pay them more while he's taking from us?
He needs them.
Well, I don't blame them. I'm sure they're nice guys. They look like nice guys. I don't have a problem only with what kind of legislation they're trying to pass. I have a problem with how they're trying to pass it.
Right.
I was off of work for a couple of months. Got called back the Monday, after all this was announced. So I took off the first Tuesday. It was a 10-hour shift. We make a little over $30 an hour to come to be heard. Well, Senator Nass got wind that there was going to be a peaceful sit-in. He made it sound like it was another terrorist attack. And there again, they go trying to point us like we're the bad guys for just wanting to be heard. Turns out all that was going on was going to be a peaceful sit-in with the demand that everybody else like me that took off of work get a chance to be heard. Is that a crime really to want to be heard?
No.
It is now.
It is now. It is now.
Take it back.
So I said, I'm so pissed off, I'm coming back again tomorrow.
That's right. That's right.
What's going on, it has nothing to do with wages increasing, at least not ours, not the people that are here right now. That guy from that little sawed-off run from WMC, maybe somebody's wages will be going up. But it's people like his wages that are going up, and I guarantee you it's going to be at your expense.
That's right.
I don't know what you know how much more they can take from us. I really don't. And I've said when Walker got in office, they won't stop until we have dirt floors. These banana Republicans have got to go. I've had enough. I have had enough. And I spent time in Honduras in the mid-'80s in a genuine banana republic. I know what a banana republic looks like. I know what a banana republic feels like. Right now, right here, is a banana republic.
That's right, Randy. That's right.